We are back in the Redstone testing world. I guess I just wanted to update those interested in where this computer project has taken me. I did post these contraptions recently. This is the hex to binary radio transmitter, and basically that input goes in, it turns it to binary over here, and then through like a sequence of dispensers and powdered snow, it sends a wireless signal across the world. Over here, we've got one of the receivers I've built where it decodes it below and releases the data stored in those furnaces. The data for this one is going to that display over there. Oh, let's see this display right here. And that's what I'll be going over with a little extra stuff at the end. So right now, let's see what data we're sending in. This one is to clear the screen here. Now, I have a loop of the cleared screen data stored right here. Let's test it out to make sure that it is. Yep, it is the clear screen data. So I'll flip that back. And now I am gonna load the screen with, let's say, an 8. Load. So now I've loaded the receiver with it just reset, and no data was released. Oh, that's why I must have saved it with that in. No data was released until I send that signal. So right now we are at 10. There we go. Boom, that data has just been released, and an 8 is now on the screen. Like that's basically how I'd like this data streaming setup to kind of work. But for future builds, I kind of how to put it? I want the data itself to be able to replace this loop, for instance, and then move it down to the next. And additionally, I want these loops to be kind of addressable, so then I can like send specific data to specific cells. It would be stored in the back, and on release does what it's supposed to. In that case, that was the stored data for clearing the screen. And it's because it's always a data value, lighting changes are minimal, and to clear the data, it's basically clearing the data. My hope is that new data can stream in, and within the span of a redstone tick, it would be able to clear previous, move it to another cell, while loading in the new data directly behind it. So then that can move along, and then I'd have some other contraption to address to each of these various cells. But yeah, that is the workflow, if you will. The other things that I started developing, mind you, I wanted this wireless memory cell to be as compact as possible. I kind of envision having a few of them stacked up, stacked below, and then hitting a bus line, a similar bus line, taking it to the screens that are needed. But I have also been working on a kind of visual memory because of how maps work. If you've seen the SOC project, it is basically displaying the memory in a game tick, in one game tick. It changes which part of this tower is displayed on the map. So then I don't have to, like, by accessing the memory, it is displaying it. Whereas the traditional method is you access the memory, you have to bus that memory to the display, convert it where needed, and move on from there. So in this process, wireless ends up being really powerful. The SoC is currently set up on this system right here, a system of scaffolds where a trapdoor is triggered in a similar latch system as how data is received. But once a signal comes in, for instance, this, we've got one would dispense there, and let's say I needed another one to dispense here. As you can see, one of these went off, and if I was to toggle it with this, they swap places. So we have an addressable component here. What I needed to figure out, it was a 3x3 space where radio signals can come in to control some dispensers, and this was the thing I came up with. Granted, it responds to various radio things happening, you know, like anything, but I try to mitigate a lot of it. So like a block placed near Redstone doesn't change the data or mix up what is being displayed. A couple blocks, however, let's say placed similar to how data is received, will shift it. We'll shift the data over. So this is like one thing that I want to work on a little bit more. But I got the timings to be perfect so that once data is, oh, there it is. Once data comes in, I would be able to access all my memory, and it would update instantly once that data latches in. So like, I guess between each data set, if I was to build this but with a clock, I could have the data streaming in binary every 4 ticks, updating the address, that clock being the thing to mitigate what's being displayed. So I really like this build. Oh, and the other thing too is the display itself it also uses powdered snow, whereas the powdered snow will all display on the same level, causing that entire layer, Y level, to render on the map. So let me send a value again. There you go. And as you can see, some more, I guess, interference was in the world. But as you can see, that first bit was displayed correctly as 8, whereas the 8 value is down here. And then that would display through this glass and this honey block, as well as here, down to a daylight detector system I've built. So yeah, I'm well on my way to making sure that even when the data comes in, maybe having a kind of buffer that allows nothing to update, for instance. But that's about it. Check out other videos if you're interested. Deuces.
Stand by. To outer space. To outer space. To outer space. Great adventure. You to outer space. Great adventure. You please stand by.